Well, g'day, Sandro here. Just finished editing this episode. It is very late on a Sunday night for me. I just flew in back from Sydney to put the final touches on this episode, and this is one of my favorites of the year, I reckon. Not because of the movie. I'm not saying the movie's my favorite of the year, but because of the content that the movie gave us. There's so much to talk about with Pearl Harbor, and that's what we do right now with our guest, Rhys Parton. He is a podcaster and an actor, has been on the show a few times before as well, and has just come off the stage doing a run of Dracula, which is really cool. I actually do a podcast with Rhys. It's called Nerd Out Consumed. We did it during lockdown a lot. Hasn't really come back properly yet, but there is a New Year's special that we released on New Year's where we talk about all our favorite movies and TV shows from 2021. There's a link to that in the episode description. Just go to my name and hit that link that says Nerd Out Podcast. And hear Nerd Out Consumed, which is the spin-off show of the show that I do with Rob Lloyd and Jen Spears, which is also maybe coming back soon. Keep an ear out. Anyway, here is the episode. As always, brought to you by Patreon. Enjoy. Very long episode on Pearl Harbor. This is a fun one. Imagine a year when Michael Bay makes a movie that's a cross between Titanic, Twilight, and Transformers.
What year is that, Sandro?
The year is 2001.
And welcome to Oldie But a Goodie, the podcast where we ask ourselves, 2001 was a weird year for movies, wasn't it? We watch all the films from that year in the order they came out in. This week we were forced to do Pearl Harbor because nothing else came out this week in 2001, so we had no other choice. As always, my name is Sandro, I'm joined by Zach.
Number one on the I Hate Michael Bay fan club.
You are very high up there.
Which is specifically the fan club for the people that hate Michael Bay. Not. I'm just throwing it out there. I am not the number one Michael Bay hater.
Right.
I'm just the number one fan of the Michael Bay hater. That's number one. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're the number one fan of Megan Fox?
Nice.
I'll say that. Why not?
And joining us as the guest on this episode, it's our most politically active guest, so we thought we'd get him on to talk about a politically active movie. It's Rhys Parton.
Nice. I didn't realize that was the reason why. I chose it because it was a bad film. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, well, you haven't really done a bad film yet. You've done one pretty okay James Bond film, one pretty okay Star Trek film.
Aw,
now,
yeah.
Something that's not okay.
One pretty okay Michael Bay film. It's his.
Yeah.
Out of the ones I've seen, it's the decent Michael Bay film.
Now you've done 3 movies that are bad.
Oh,
because this is 3 movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like it, yeah.
There's a romance drama, there's a war movie, and then there's whatever the ending is.
Yeah, I don't know what the ending was.
Yeah.
I think the genre for the ending is bullshit. No.
I thought it was tasteless myself. Then again, it's a Michael Bay movie, so...
Yeah. Well, going into this, all I remembered about this movie was the Team America song, and that it's incredibly historically inaccurate. So I was going into it being like, this is going to be tasteless, it's going to be awful, it's just going to be exploitation. But then I remembered, oh wait, all war movies are exploitation. So then...
You cut it some slack.
Yeah, I cut it a little bit of slack. And look, it's not good, but it's got some good moments.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because I'm not even going to say that it isn't good. I think it's quite well made. It's just that some points let it down. And in the synopsis, we'll probably get to that.
Zach, what did you think?
Oh, I was USA, USA, woo! Man, we knew they were going to bomb Pearl Harbor. We knew it. We just didn't do anything about it, all right? We knew we were going to do it. We had figured it out. We were geniuses. But but we were occupied with other things, guys, and then they did it. But we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then of course we retaliated because we're USA. We're the best.
Boom.
Yeah, I watched this film very late at night.
I don't think it doesn't matter when you start watching it, you'll be ending up watching it late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed a point in this movie. I will mention. I wrote it down. I'm just gonna spoiler. I think you should skip to an hour and 10 minutes.
An hour and 10? 110's the bar fight, isn't it?
Is it?
Yes. Well, you see a meeting room first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would be the cold opening of the movie, would be this meeting room. And then it goes to the bar fight, because the bar fight depicts their entire friendship and conflict in just that.
Yeah.
And then you just go, and it's a great film.
We'll get into all the nitty-gritty details on Pearl Harbor, the movie, because we're not talking about the event.
History? No way.
History, why would we talk about that? This movie doesn't even bother to talk about it.
Yes.
Why did the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor? Because of gas prices, apparently.
It's all Biden's fault.
But Zach, what else came out this week in wait, we're doing 2001. I almost said 1987 then for a second.
Feels like 1987.
It does feel like a film.
Probably a lot of stuff came out then, but we're talking about now, Sandro.
Yeah, that's it. You can't find anything, can you?
Yeah, I'm just 1 second. My page is blank.
Oh.
It's got nothing else. It says there's F all.
Ah.
Oh, I see what happened. Yeah. What happened is someone got all the movie options for this week and smashed them all together in one movie.
Oh.
We had like a drama movie, a war movie, and some other movie.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We had an exploitation movie. We had an action movie.
Yeah.
All in one.
And a revenge movie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason being, like, this was built up to be the next Titanic. It's a 3-hour-long epic romance disaster movie. And this one is made by Disney as well. So all the money was behind it. And I think they were like, we just won't release anything else in this time slot. So we are forced to do it.
Yeah.
All right, I feel like I'm going to be the only one slightly positive about this.
I'll be positive about it. I'll be positive about it after an hour and 10 minutes in this movie.
Funnily enough, I was, for a little bit, until I realised that, Michael Bay is really good at directing action. Whatever you have to say about him, he is really good at it. Until I realised, again, just how good he is, I was the other way around. I actually got invested in the romance story of it all. The love triangle was annoying, and Sandra and I were slightly whinging about it while we took our turns watching it. And he goes, I forgot about the love triangle. And I was like, yeah, it's not great.
Oh, yeah. We've seen this before. Was this your first time watching this, Zach?
It was my first time watching this, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The good thing is you'll never have to watch it again now.
Yeah.
Look. I thought the romance was fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, the love triangle, I noted down some things, but, the story overall wasn't the worst story I've ever seen.
No.
And it wasn't like I didn't enjoy it. It's just I don't know. I was just... At some point, I wrote down, when is the Pearl Harbor going to happen in a Pearl Harbor movie?
They had a lot of real estate to play with.
They did a 3-month jump.
Yeah.
In the middle of the love... I'm like, what? What is going on? That's when I wrote it down. I'm like, when is the Pearl Harbor going to happen? They just, they hint at it first, and then they cut to 3 months. So it was... Everything before that was 3 months prior...
I think the movie takes place over a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
I liked as well how they were counting down the days to Pearl Harbor. They were trying to draw up anticipation for it. And I'm there this was a bad thing movie. Stop getting me excited for the bad thing that happened.
I don't know if it was excited. I think it's more... I described it to you when we first mentioned the concept of there being 3 movies in one. There was a love story, and then it's basically abruptly interrupted, which I thought was pretty accurate. People would have been going about their day in the harbour, waking up thinking, oh, it's Sunday, that's cool. Some of them are hungover in the story, and I'm sure in real life they would have been. And then suddenly, the Japanese army just comes in and kills thousands of them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it was building anticipation. It was more like, this is where the world of the men and women serving in the US Army is about to be turned upside down.
Yeah. And I think that after Pearl Harbor, things got a lot better in the movie and made the previous stuff a lot better. Like, I liked having the introduction where we learn the backstories of them so that when we see them out in the field, we feel emotions.
Speaking of which, shall we do a bit of an introduction ourselves?
Yeah, we should. Let's get into some pre-rams, some pre. This movie was released.
Some delicious pre.
Oh, yum. May 25th, 2001, as we mentioned, directed and produced by Michael Bay. This is his fourth movie. So he started with Bad Boys. Then he made The Rock with Sean Connery, which is great. Probably his best one. And then he did Armageddon before working on this. Obviously continued to do Transformers, The Island, that recent movie Ambulance. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm relatively interested in it, I guess.
I'm trying to equate his style to something which is about an ambulance, and I just can't do it mentally, so I almost want to check it out just to see how you get large-scale explosions and, stereotypes into, into a story about ambulance. I bet it's got a lot of sexy nurses,
But yeah, at least I think that movie's got proper cinematography, unlike his last film. So, Six Underground was a headache.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, look, in terms of Michael Bay-isms, it's not as bad.
This is a Michael Bay film before he became the Michael Bay he is now.
Yeah. Zach, if I told you that this was directed by someone else, would you believe me, or would you believe that this is completely Michael Bay just by watching it?
Well, the first hour and 10 minutes didn't really have any explosions, so, you could have probably convinced me. There's a lot of
There were
screens.
some explosions on those parachutes.
That is...
I was about to say that. Anyway, getting out of the gutter.
I hate both of you equally.
We know.
Maybe Sandra a bit more.
Yeah, that's true. It is written by Randall Wallace, best known for writing Braveheart.
Ooh.
Similar tones and whatnot.
Yeah, this is alright. He's also a director. He directed Secretariat and The Man in the Iron Mask. He didn't direct this, though. But yeah, look, you hired the guy who wrote Braveheart to do your Pearl Harbor movie. That checks out.
He's very good at patriotic movies.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
They may take our harbour, but they'll never take out... Oh, sorry.
They'll never take out pearls.
Yeah.
It's also got a soundtrack by Hans Zimmer.
Which you wouldn't know, sadly. It wasn't up to his usual standard.
It was a TV movie soundtrack.
Yeah, it really was. Actually, this will sound weird, but whenever we cut to the Japanese generals and leaders and emperor and all of that, and they came up with their plan. Some of the music cues reminded me of the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. They'd say something, and then we'll attack here, and then it's like,
Yeah.
Which is not Hans Zimmer's usual style. He's usually much more subtle, much more nuanced, but it was really on the nose.
Yeah. I want to figure out, is this before or after Pirates, the first Pirates? Because that was when
long
I
before.
started taking notice of Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
2 years before the first Pirates, okay.
Only 2? Wow.
This has got a massive cast. We'll speed through this. Ben Affleck is our main character, Rafe. He was in a bunch of stuff before this, including Armageddon and a bunch of Kevin Smith movies. But yeah, I reckon this movie, it didn't single-handedly make him a star, but it definitely helped him get roles like Jack Ryan and Daredevil, which he got later on.
And I thought it was great, frankly. I thought it was really good.
He's all right. What did you think, Zach?
Yeah, I was thinking, man, this guy could make a great Batman the whole time. That's all I could think of. No, he was all right. I love the accent he's doing.
Yes.
Whatever that was very amusing. Mm-hmm. He was the main character. I had no gripes, but I had no particular, love for him. I was trying to figure out the plot. Most of the first hour and 10 minutes is just backstory on these characters.
Yeah.
Half my notes are trying to predict what the plot will actually do. And I like the little buddy story that they have. I like his Americanism. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked I liked how they tackled his dyslexia. I thought that was actually really well done.
Yeah.
That was good, actually, yeah.
Like he says, I've got no problem with the knowledge and the understanding of it in numbers and all of that. It's just, in fact, I know what the words mean. I just can't read them. The letters are the problem. And it was really well done.
That was actually quite good, yeah. We've also got Josh Hartnett playing Danny, who for some reason I thought was played by either Matt Damon or Brad Pitt in my memory. But anyway, it's Josh
I
Hartnett.
wonder why.
He's from Black Hawk Down. Annoyingly, a great war movie that came out at the end of 2001, but only got a big cinema release at the start of 2002, so we can't do it. Which is a shame. He's also from Halloween H2O, and he's from Penny Dreadful, that TV show as well.
Oh, is he?
He's fine in this.
He's pretty good.
I mean, all the acting is like, it's good, but it's not like amazing. The lead female's pretty good.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Kate Beckinsale from the Underworld series and also the rom-com Serendipity. She's Evelyn.
She is. And this sucks, but a lot of knowledge I got post the movie coming out has kind of tarnished some things about it. Because... Should we get into ranting about that now? I think you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, Michael Bay essentially said if she wanted the role, she's going to have to work out. And it's just lots of sexist stuff that we learned he's got a bit of a history of since a film like this.
What?
I know.
Michael Bay?
A lot of external factors were affecting my opinion of the film, but trying to look at it objectively, I think it's a good film, and she did a great job.
Yeah.
I think she was better than the role was, which was just standard pretty nurse during the war, stuck in a love triangle, and I think she was better than what she was given.
Yeah.
Well, she had the best arc, I think, because of how... I wrote it down. I didn't want to mention it till we got there, but there's like scenes where all the nurses are coming in and there's all these cute boys everywhere and everything's great and oh my god, it's like a holiday in Hawaii. Oh my god, everything's so
army.
great. Yeah, let's join the
Look at
army.
these studs.
And then everyone dies.
Yeah.
Everyone's on fire, burning and dying. You have to choose whether this person lives or dies.
Oh, that's
Those are actually genuinely amazing scenes.
Yeah.
And that so that previous fun they were having, it makes that next scene better. So I liked that sort of arc.
You know, little
that
Betty,
she had with that.
young Betty getting engaged with one of the other boys.
Yeah. Yeah, and then everything that happens there.
It was really powerful, and I'll be honest, at some point, we'll probably get to it in the synopsis, but I did cry during some of the harbour attacks. It was really well done. It was horrific. And I'm going to confess, Sandra and I mentioned we watched it previously. When I was a kid, all of the political stuff, all of the geopolitical stuff and the inaccuracies of it, it all went over my head because I didn't really know. And I glorified violence a lot more than I do now. And I thought, this is such a cool movie. And it's like, oh, it's a shame some good guys died, but the bad guys are attacking, such simplistic thoughts, which is what the movie's targeting, but really there's so much more nuance than that going on in reality.
What do you mean they're targeting simplistic thoughts? I thought this was just a American movie, for an American audience. I don't see the connection
struggling, but the white savior, I know they're all white, but the American savior comes along and helps all of the Brits in their struggles.
USA.
I think we have woken a sleeping giant or something. There's something someone says.
Yeah. That's what the general says.
But when I was younger, it was very simplistic. My thinking was simplistic because I didn't have much knowledge. I watched this, looking back at it, far too early. I was really young when I was watching this. But I watched it a few times over and over just because I liked the action sequences. And I was comparing the flights to things like Star Wars, where they also have interesting action sequences. Anyway, I like the filmmaking. But anyway, watching it now, I'm much more invested.
Rest of the cast. Oh, Jennifer Garner's in this as one of Evelyn's colleagues. She obviously went on to be Elektra. That launched her into a massive career. She's barely in this, but she's good in the scene she is in. Speaking of someone who's barely in this, Michael Shannon from Knives Out, Man of Steel. He plays a guy called Goose, which is close to Goose, which is a probably Top Gun reference. Haha.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Dan Aykroyd, he shows up for a bit.
What?
Ewan Bremer plays the guy with the stutter. He's from Trainspotting. He's amazing in those.
He's also from Wonder Woman, pretty sure.
He was pretty good in this movie as well. I liked his character.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was like, every Michael Bay movie has one character who's just there to make fun of some disability that they have, and he was that for a
it was
little
like,
bit.
hey, we handled dyslexia so well. Hey, fuck you, stutterer, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, god damn it, Michael Bay, come on, man. You were so close.
So I've got mixed feelings about that, and I'm not one to talk about it because I'm not in that community, and if it was offensive, I accept that. But I thought there were some endearing moments with him. One when he's trying to propose, it was really cute.
Oh, that was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
And then when he couldn't say the Japanese are here,
Yeah.
he was saying and they're flying closer. Everyone's just thinking it's American pilots doing flight training early on a Sunday morning. And, he says an offensive term, because that's what they were all saying, but he couldn't get it out, and he was really panicking about it.
Yeah. I liked his character arc.
Yeah.
It's just like, Michael Bay, can you go a film without making fun of the disabled?
Yeah, I come with Michael Bay.
Or other ethnicities, or women, or
Yeah.
anyone who isn't a white man. Thanks.
Yeah.
There's some historical figures in this. Cuba Gooding Jr. plays Doris Miller, the first black American to be awarded the Navy Cross.
Yeah.
He's in there for a little bit. He's very good.
That's the cook, yeah?
The cook, yeah.
Yeah, because I really liked his arc. His arc was great.
Yeah, he's good.
He's one of the people where some of the external and modern day stuff sort of affected how I viewed things, because he's recently confessed to abuse.
Ugh.
And then seeing Alec Baldwin, who didn't do anything wrong recently, but he's been caught up in a tragic event.
Yeah, seen him in this.
I couldn't help thinking of that. So some people, and John Voight as well.
Yeah, he's President Roosevelt.
Yeah, some people being in this, I couldn't help think of real life, modern day things. But back in the day, this was a star-studded cast. The director hadn't gone down the path he'd gone down. Well, he sort of had. We didn't know about it with Kate Beckinsale and her casting. So I'm trying to watch it objectively, but I'm aware of a whole lot of other stuff as well, and it kind of takes me out of the film.
But that's always going to happen with a Michael Bay movie.
It is.
I did laugh that Alec Baldwin's character is called Doolittle. I was like, ha 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 ha. That's the name of a movie.
Yeah. And that he does very little.
And also Mako plays the Japanese fleet admiral. He's a voice actor in Avatar. He was in the Conan movies. He's the wizard in the Conan movies.
There you go.
Reception, 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, 66% audience score, 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Audiences at the time gave it an A- on Cinema Score.
Wow.
And surprisingly enough, considering a relatively negative reception from the critics, Japanese critics praised this movie.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very anti-Japanese.
No.
Which I was like, I breathed out a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
When it wasn't like, we are the Japanese, we are the bad guys, grr, grr, grr. It was like, hey, we have to do this, to prevent the worst of the war happening. It was a preemptive strike sort of thing.
And there were lines there, like, I think one of them described the commander as a genius, and he said, no, a genius would find a way to avoid a war, or something like that. So,
yeah.
That was a good line. I liked that line a lot. That was very good.
Yeah. I kind of skimmed through a couple critic reviews. A lot of them at the time were saying, like, yeah, it's just Titanic, but this one's got a bad romance, which is funny. The dialogue got a lot of flack as well, people being like, this is some of the silliest dialogue we've seen in a movie. Also targeted the historical accuracy, particularly the reason behind the attack, just being like, gas prices. Everyone loved the 40-minute action sequence, though, so that's good. And it won an Oscar for Best Sound Editing.
Oh, there you go.
sound design was good.
Yeah.
I've always thought that about it, actually. There was the scene where, and this is jumping really far ahead, but when a lot of the people on the ground, because I only had 4 planes still operating, climbed up into one of the lookout towers at the airport, and then they fire their rifles as one of the planes is chasing Danny or Rafe, I've forgotten which one, and they all fire. I always thought the sound design, you could hear each individual gun firing, and then the sounds of the bullets hitting the hull Is it a hole when it's a plane? Anyway,
yeah.
hitting the frame of the plane and tearing holes in it. I thought it always sounded really good, even on my old cathode ray TV, which is what I first watched this on at a VHS.
Oh boy, yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
This cost $140 million. Zach, what do you think it made? I could have said that better. Hang on, Zach. This cost $140 million. What do you think it made?
That's an interesting question. I have literally no idea. I did think it would have a big budget.
Yes,
That for sure. I would have guessed in the 150s. But what did it actually make? It's a Michael Bay film. He earns money by taking shits on cinema. I'm gonna say 250.
250. All right, interesting.
That's a very conservative guess.
Conservative like Michael Bay. What do you think, Rhys?
Exactly.
I don't know, but immediately when you mentioned money, 400,000 came to mind.
400,000
No, sorry, not 500,000, 400 million.
400 million.
Sorry.
400 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about, whoa, wow, this one really bombed.
I wonder actually, because I know a lot of Michael Bay's latest movies, like Transformers, that war thing that he did recently, probably like a decade ago at this point, but a lot of them are funded by the military as well. I wonder if this one is.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's right, because he goes to military bases all the time in Transformers and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
all the equipment is actual military equipment or something.
Wow, I
that
didn't
they
know
give him to put in the movie. This made $449.2 million.
Oh,
That's close.
well done, sir.
Which back then, wasn't that a lot of money for a film? I know we make billions now with Marvel stuff.
I mean, Titanic. Like, they're trying to capture Titanic, and this doesn't really come close.
But wasn't it rare for a film to be the highest earning in a box office back then, whereas it happens a lot now, and they do try to target that?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, It's one of the highest grossing movies of the year. I think I'm having a look now. It's below Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Monsters, Inc., Shrek, and Ocean's 11, so it's the 6th highest grossing film of the year.
It's also below that in terms of story quality, too.
Yeah, it's just slightly above Mummy Returns by like 20 mil. It's just slightly above that.
It's probably also better than that, too, isn't it?
Mummy 2's better than this. I mean, it looks worse.
It does.
I would watch Mummy 2 again and again, whereas this movie, I might watch half of it again.
Yeah, I'd probably just watch the 40 minutes again, to be honest.
Yeah, just watch the action.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jess.
And my name's Ellen.
And we're from Murder in the Land of Oz, an Australian true crime podcast. We've covered such notorious crimes as Alison Baden Clay,
The Backpacker Murders,
Anita Cobby,
and Azaria Chamberlain.
and many other crimes featured around Australia. You can find us on any podcaster app, such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or any other place that you get your podcast from. You do you, dog.
You just make the right choice for you. We are
Yeah, fresh.
witty and charming, and we're a solid 4 out of 5 stars.
According to Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, guys. We hope you join us on our trip around Australia. Bye.
That's Not Canon Productions podcast.
There's a bunch of taglines. I've only chosen a couple because there's like 10 taglines to this movie, so I've chosen a bunch of them.
Oh my goodness.
You got to give them thumbs up or thumbs down. I will do them in my old war voice, I guess.
Oh god.
It takes a moment to change history. It takes love to change lives.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm gonna thumbs down just for the voice, not the thing. No, the voice made it so much worse, actually.
Hey, do you remember the Admiral and the voiceover guy from Star Wars Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Try and do that.
It was the end of innocence and the dawn of a nation's greatest glory.
Oh, Jesus. Exploitation much.
That's not the way you describe a tragedy. Oh god, thumbs down.
The glory is that they got revenge.
Yeah, I get that bit. Thank you, announcer dude.
But even the pilot said, are we really going to make much of a difference?
Oh man, I hate this next one so much.
Alright, here we go, announcer dude.
December 7th, 1941. It was a Sunday morning. ...
That's it?
That's it.
If it was in Australia, it was your standard Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Thumbs down because it's so vague.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a shaky thumbs down.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost fine, but it's doesn't do much.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly excite me to go to the movie. It's like, oh, what's happening on that date, you know?
Yeah, what happened then?
What happened then? I reckon my dad would have gotten up. He might have, if they were around,
Yeah.
But in America, it was a bad day.
These next two posters are in the style of World War II posters. They had a bunch of specialty posters made up, and this is the first of those two. Victory!
Did the people writing these taglines watch the movie?
Yeah.
Or
But
like,
no one came out of this winning.
yeah. Or know about the tragedy. Even the counterattack that they didn't work.
They lost one of their two best pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was zero victory. Big thumbs down.
This next tagline's about
God.
also in the style of an old World War II poster. Keep that in mind.
Oh, God.
Nurses are needed now, to have and to hold.
Oh, Jesus. Who thumbs down?
Kate Beckinsale, more like Kate, me watching the ship of me watching this movie has sailed. No. And then the final tagline is
More like Kate Beckin parachute.
experience the event that changed the world.
Oh, come on.
And by the world, we mean America, because that's the only country in the world.
The USA is the world, Sandro.
In the USA's eyes, yes, exactly.
Absolutely. So, as an American, I give that one a thumbs up.
But as a Kiwi Australian, we both say,
Yeah, well, that's it. Yep.
Look, when we're making these jokes, I do want to acknowledge it was obviously a tragedy, and they had to retaliate in some way. And I genuinely can't imagine what it was like for anyone in that time across most of the world. But America, you were not the heroes of the war.
No.
Well, I think in war there are no winners.
Pretty much.
Well, that's the great thing about Full Metal Jacket. That's what makes that such a good war movie.
Great movie.
Is it's anti-war. This is pro-war? Kinda.
It sort of is. Like, it's the slow motion glorification of explosions that Michael Bay is good at is pretty tactless, frankly. And when I was a kid, I thought, oh, this is so cool. But there's nothing cool about war. Absolutely nothing.
And yeah, like exploitation movies, I'm a fan of some of them, but there is a line to draw, especially when it's based off real events. And this one felt kind of gross at times. But anyway, let's talk about the plot of Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It opens with some sad music, shots of a plane, and the font, Zach. The font of this movie is just the Titanic font.
I thought they were going for a vibe.
And we see two boys, Rafe and Danny, growing up together.
Oh, Danny boy.
They're flying around in planes, accidentally start up their dad's plane. Their dad comes
oh my
over
God,
and is
how
like...
stupid was that?
Oh my God, yeah, I know. And I think the dad's played by Michael Bay. At least he looks a lot like Michael Bay.
Oh, I thought it was a young Walter Goggins.
Oh.
It probably is Michael Bay, actually.
William Fitchner.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I always get him and Goggins confused. No, he's good. And there was a really insensitive slur from the kid as well.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about him being a German, and he's like, I fought for America. His spirit was broken in that scene, and then Danny runs after him.
Yeah, oh my God, I love this, because it's like, oh, maybe there's a bad guy American. Nope, he's just a war vet. Everyone calm down, stop hating the dad, alright? Everybody chill.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now, he was really strict with his son, but, and this isn't an excuse for any of that sort of thing, but it's an insight that we have now. He would have had PTSD.
Oh, the dad. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like Patrick Stewart's dad. He came home, he was alcoholic, and he became incredibly abusive. And for a long time, Patrick Stewart didn't understand why, and then he learned more about PTSD, and he's like, okay, well, I don't know if I forgive him, but I understand him a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It was just like, the start of this film was very shallow.
Oh.
I think I'm using that.
Isn't the whole film
correctly?
Yeah.
Yes. But particularly, I noticed, I was like, oh, USA.
Boys,
like the kids go,
boys.
land of the free, home of the brave.
Yeah.
And other things like that. And then you have this interaction with the dad, and it's like, oh, there's a bit of emotion here. Oh, his dad's, a bit of an asshole. But then that's cut short because you learn he's a war vet, and then everyone's okay with him being a bad dad because he's a war vet.
Yeah, but that never even comes back, though.
No,
like,
it
his
doesn't come
relationship
back.
with his dad is ignored for the entirety of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the scene where the dad's, like, hitting him and then his friend comes up with a plank. It's shot like the Bourne. I'm just, why?
Yeah.
I know.
Just proper cinematography, please. It's not as bad as Driven, so, you know.
Also, I know a bit of wood would hurt you, but I don't think Rafe would have had enough strength to hit him hard enough to knock him down.
Yeah.
Or pick up that wood particularly well, frankly.
That's true. But anyway, 1941, wars started. America doesn't want to get involved. Tensions with Japan. That's the historical backdrop. And they're just a couple of daredevil pilots. They're flying around their daredevils.
Yeah.
They're playing chicken.
Playing chicken, exactly. They play chicken at the airfield where they're training, and then they get yelled at by Alec Baldwin. And then, why was it just Rafe that was offered? But Rafe is offered to go as like a, what's the word? Not an envoy, but to work with the UK in their current struggles.
I think he volunteered.
Well, there was a setup where it's officially a volunteering thing.
I think they're just setting up a squadron, right? So a single squadron, so they only have limited slots to send people in. And they don't want to send all their best pilots over to Britain. That's what the guy does say.
The Brits are our friends, but we can't help them out entirely.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they're at war with the Daleks.
Now it all makes sense. Hey, you know what, Sandro? That's bullshit. But that's very good bullshit.
That's a quote from the movie.
Oh!
Oh, I did laugh. There's one line in the movie where I think it's Alec Baldwin. He's like, "Thank you all so much for volunteering. Boys, you're showing the real heart of America. Blah, 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 no extra pay, etc." And I was like, this movie loves volunteers almost as much as James Corden does. That's an outdated reference by the time this episode comes out.
I don't know, he's still on the show for a year.
Not true. Also, Ben Affleck's meant to be 24 years old, which I found very funny.
Yeah, you love that.
Because he's clearly like 29 as an actor.
But it's not like that's ever been done before, ever, and happens all the time now, Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra,
I
you gotta learn to stretch your disbelief at least once on some movies.
My thing is, this is a fictional character.
Yeah.
Don't mention their age. There's no point.
I don't remember hearing it, so I'm sure they did, but I don't remember it.
There's a part where he's like, "I'm going off to war. I'm almost 25. I gotta do something with my life."
Oh, yeah, that's true. The commander goes, "You're all young, you're all, 25, you've got the rest of your life." Yeah, that's right, he does say that.
Yeah.
But Sandra, you still, just ignore it. Just
I can't
move on.
ignore it.
You're obsessed.
I can't
You gotta
ignore it.
Look,
Yeah.
every movie has actors playing people that are either older or younger than them.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta have to learn to adapt, Sandra, eventually.
Yeah,
We've
but
done
there's-
2.5
yeah.
years
I
of
mean, I
movies.
know, it's crazy though. Like, whenever Sylvester Stallone shows up and he's like, "I'm a young man," I'm like, "Sylvester Stallone, you're 60.
I'm 23. Where's that young hot lady for me to fall in love with?
The next few scenes are basically a sequence of the squad that they've put together, basically coming to terms with the fact that they're going to war,
Yeah.
but also living it up in the 40s with the nurses that are going to go with them, and then it's the blokes kind of talking about how they're going to chat up the women, and then it's the women talking about... It's sort of done in flashback a little bit too. It was really it was interestingly done. I quite liked it. So they're professionally giving them their shots in their bums.
Yes.
So that they can travel and they're inoculated and all of that. And then privately they're going out to a bar, gorgeous bar. The aesthetics of this film are really nice.
Oh, yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Except for the points that Sandra made in chat, which is that it's too saturated and there were one too many lens flares, which I don't normally complain about, but sometimes I just thought, why'd you use a lens that makes a lens flare?
Oh, Michael Bay, he does love a good lens flare.
He does indeed.
About as much as J.J. Abrams.
That is true.
true.
That is true. He needs some catching up.
I don't think the meet cute was very cute, but I laughed, so that's good. She keeps stabbing him in the bum.
Yeah, and he played that pretty well.
And then he falls over and breaks his nose or something. It's-
Because he's already had the shots, but he wanted to get close to her again. Even though Rafe's already had the shots, he gets the second dose, and he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's how the shots would work. Wouldn't he just get sick?
But Zach, this is a vapid film that wants to have a bit of comedy in there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that this was a levity moment. I was taking this
Yeah.
dead seriously. I was concerned for this man's safety
Yeah.
and health as he has gotten 2 shots. Clearly, the system has failed us, and we need to file a full report on this incident.
I know. Is he now endangering the other guy?
Yeah.
Because he was allocated a dose.
Yeah, that other guy didn't get shots. He's got his file stolen.
And so he
Exactly.
survives the conflict, but he gets home, he's really sick, and he dies from whatever they've been protected.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
And then there's a brilliant slapstick moment. I did laugh actually, where he's really clumsy, and he's also nervous because he's falling in love with Evelyn, and he opens champagne bottle, but he looks at it and it gets him in his broken nose, and it really hurts.
Oh, yeah, that felt that one.
He played it very well. He was shaking afterwards, tears in his eyes, and then he just gives up and goes, "I'm sorry, it really hurts."
yeah, that was funny.
I kind of like the way he says, he's just looking at her, he goes, "You're so beautiful, it hurts." And she goes, "I think it's your nose that hurts."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
might be in a sappy mood. I don't know.
Look, I'm not saying it was bad. I thought the romance was fine. It's just like, I didn't exactly sign up for a romance movie, though.
No, exactly. It genuinely does feel like 2 different films.
Yeah. I mean, Titanic makes sense because, you know, what other story are you going to tell? That's probably just because that movie's a classic, though. There's probably other ways that you could have made it.
To be honest,
Yeah.
the love story in this makes more sense because the emotions were so heightened. Times where you didn't know if you were going to die, you didn't know if the war was going to make it to you. They're reading headlines about countries being obliterated. If they get a little bit of feelings for each other, you're going to act on it. It did feel a bit fast, but also then I rationalized it that way.
No, the fast bit was the bit that I liked because this movie is 3 hours long, and I was just like, the faster the better.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with the romance was that it took an hour and 20 minutes to get to the Pearl Harbor bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, it's an odd one. There's no balance in it. I told Sandro this, that I don't mind them both being in the same film, but it's so abruptly done that it feels like 2 different films, like we've been saying.
I think a better movie would have been, I don't know, they're both stationed at Pearl Harbor and all the bad stuff happens and they help people and then they fall in love or whatever. That would have been probably a better movie than this kind of convoluted love triangle. But
Yeah.
for what we
I've got
got,
mixed
I think
feelings.
it's well acted enough that you can believe it.
And it does that weird thing that a lot of romances do, where it's got amazing shots of Hawaii with Hans Zimmer's music, where it does sound like a TV movie, but it's beautiful music because he's good at what he does. And it puts the package together really nicely of, this is just a romance movie, it's really nice. And then suddenly at the 1 hour and 30 minutes mark, pretty much exactly, the first bomb blows up a ship and it goes into hardly any music and a lot of blood, guts, and gore, so to speak.
Michael Bay loves making bad jokes in all his movies. Sometimes they're bad on purpose. Sometimes the joke is someone is being awkward and silly, which we got earlier with Ben Affleck being like, "I lick you, I like you." I mean, and that's you know,
that was very dumb. I was like, Michael Bay.
that is classic Michael Bay.
Then it flash forwards to when the nurses are discussing, what did he mean? Well, he said like. Oh, like you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, yes, get on with it. We get it.
Yes.
He said like, not lick. God damn it.
But other things that Michael Bay likes to do is jokes that no one in their right mind would ever say, and this is one. Ben Affleck and Kate Beckinsale are dancing. He's got his hand a little bit low. And she's like, "Oh my, your hand is way below my waist." And Ben Affleck's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I lost a bit of altitude."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, no one would say that.
Oh,
It's not as bad as this one line,
my God.
which is getting a little bit ahead of myself, but this is pretty much the scene where, he goes over to England to go and help with the war effort over there, and the commander over there is like, wow, you really want to be out on the field, don't you? Are all you Yanks as anxious to get themselves killed? And Ben Affleck's like, oh, not anxious to die, sir, just anxious to matter.
Yes.
USA! USA!
Yeah.
USA!
There was another one later on where he's done some flying with them, taken out a few planes, and then the British leader comes up and says, if all of your pilots are as good as you, this war would be over very soon, or something like that. That's basically what he meant. And it's just like, stop licking your own boots, America. I was going to say something else, but that's a bit too vivid and gross.
Yeah. That is this movie. I've written down USA, USA, USA in my notes multiple times.
That should be the tagline. Pearl Harbor, USA, USA.
I would have upvoted that one. I would have been like, yeah, well, at least they're getting to the point with that one.
It's accurate, yeah. I do want to mention this. Just before, God, just before he goes to England, he's like, my test, right, is I told Evelyn not to come and see me off, and if she does, that means she loves me. And I'm like, that's toxic.
It says a lot, actually, that a Michael Bay film contains so many moments of not consent. Someone has said no, but they're expecting the opposite. Somebody said no, but the opposite happens.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And she, nearly misses him on the station, you know?
I don't think she does see him.
No, she doesn't see him, but, he could have quite easily missed her.
Yeah.
And then he would have been like, oh, she doesn't actually love me. Oh, well.
But he got very excited and he's tapping on the window, Evelyn, but she can't hear him. And then he stops and just another guy's looking at him and goes, she loves me.
I rolled my fucking eyes. That was so dumb. But also, he could have quite easily just been a carriage down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and completely missed her. And he would have been like, well, she doesn't love me. And then he would have just not cared anymore.
Or she could have been a perfectly respectful human respecting his wishes and didn't turn up.
Yeah.
It was actually a sweet line when he says, don't come and see me off tomorrow, saying goodbye to you once is hard enough. That was actually kind of cute. That was kind of sweet.
I was like, that's pretty different. I like it, instead of that whole cliche send-off thing where the girl comes running in to, see him off. No, that would be too cliche. They've actually broken that.
Yeah.
He's saying, don't come. And then, of course, it happens anyway.
Oh, political scenes. They're the best part of this movie.
Oh, yeah, what? Where the experts are ignored by those people who think they know best. Where have we seen that before?
What?
The last 2 years? Sorry.
Yeah, we just cut between, the Americans and the Japanese, and the Japanese are all like, we've invented special torpedoes.
Was that historically accurate, or...?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, the attack wouldn't have worked.
I don't think them all standing around like the Empire was real.
No, with little models. I don't know how much that's all accurate.
Yeah.
And menacing music.
I just rolled my eyes because in the American scenes, you got Dan Aykroyd, who's being an expert, is telling them, we think this is highly likely. Have you got any proof? No, but we think it's highly likely. You should really listen to us because it risks the entire fleet.
Yeah.
I need 100% certainty before we do anything. I'm not going to listen to you. And then a few days later, they should have listened to the experts.
They should have. I mean, to be fair, Dan Aykroyd's always going on about aliens, so, take it or leave it.
Yeah. It's hard to take them seriously sometimes.
Statistically, though, aliens do exist.
I mean, buy my gin. I'm Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. I love me some Skull diamond infused. Was it vodka or gin? I don't even know.
Maybe it is vodka. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is anti-American. How dare he, Dan Aykroyd?
I know. He's supporting Russia.
Okay, moving swiftly on.
God. So, during the Army General scenes, interspersed in there, Rafe gets shot down.
Yeah, that was a good dogfight. That whole sequence was really solid.
Frankly, the CGI when he blew up the plane looked as good as anything these days.
Yes. There's only one shot in this movie that wasn't great near the end when a plane crashes into a field. That wasn't great.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie I thought just looked amazing.
He's good at what he does with the action stuff. I'll give him that.
That was pretty good.
And it's also shot well, the action as well, because like the big thing with the Transformers movies, particularly I think all of them from 3 onwards, is that the action, it's hard to focus on, and the reason you can't like remember or retain any information from those movies is because stuff is always happening and your eye always has to like move around. Like a good action movie, Mad Max Fury Road.
I knew you were going to mention that.
All the action takes place in the middle of the screen. You can always tell what's going on.
Well, they put crosshairs on the camera when they were filming.
Exactly, yeah. So you just kind of have to pay attention to one spot and you can retain, you know what's going on. It's a lot easier to follow. Michael Bay movies, your eye is bouncing around all over the screen.
I reckon the first 3 Transformers films were decent when it came to the camera work, but you're right, it became so much more handheld.
Yeah.
And from the perspective of the humans, and tried to do Cloverfield meets Transformers and didn't do it as well as Cloverfield.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of, a big thing with those. Whereas, with this, I thought the action was all pretty good. Aside from fist fights, which turned into the Bourne Identity. But it wasn't as bad as Driven. I think Driven, which we did a few weeks ago, was so bad that any other shaky cam now is just going to not feel as impactful because that movie was so bad.
My favourite sort of shaky cam, and this is going to sound really weird, really specific, but it's the beginning of, I don't know what it's called, it's probably just called Star Wars The Clone Wars, but the movie The Clone Wars, they're in the trenches and the clones charge, and it's as if you're one of the clones charging up there, and it's handheld, and it's following a few of them, and it's animated, but it gets exactly what I like from handheld, where it's not too shaky, but it's obviously climbing over the trench as well, and things like that. That works really well.
I like just before he goes up in the air, he's talking with a British general, and he says, "God help anyone who goes to war with America."
Yeah, that's another one. USA.
And that's the one where the Japanese general says it's like maybe we have awakened a sleeping giant. USA. Yeah, USA. I'm just like, oh my god.
So then basically the generals have had their meeting. We found out that Rafe got shot down. Danny goes and tells Evelyn. They're mourning together, they're celebrating him, and then she turns up at the airfield and everyone disappears from the hangar.
Yeah, that's
because everyone's like, oh.
I've got some great quotes here. Ladies cloud the mind. The world's first incel, maybe?
Maybe.
Not sure what yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So after the hangar scene, he says, hey, have you ever seen the harbour at sunset? And she goes, oh yeah, a few times. Have you ever seen it from the sky?
From the sky.
And so they go for a flight, and that was fine, that was cute, but then they jump 5 steps in the dating process and they hook up in parachutes.
In the parachute room. And I was just thinking of the guy, right, who's going to go to war. He's going to be up there in the plane. The plane's going to get shot down. He's going to open his parachute and he's going to land on the ground. And he's going to be like, wow, that parachute really saved my life. What's that weird stain there?
I thought...
Well, as we find out, there probably wasn't a stain because Evelyn gets pregnant.
She does get pregnant? That's true. Good point.
That's true. At least they're being respectful of the parachutes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's such a weird, it's like the Room quality sex scene.
Have you... Okay, guys. Have you ever been in a parachute room?
Is it hot?
Oh, it's the most sensual room possible. It's almost impossible not to get it on, you know?
Yeah.
That's why it happened, you know? You can't help yourself. It's like being in a bedroom with sheets, but the sheets are everywhere. They're hanging up, you know? It's just like...
That got Sandra.
Oh, dear. That was dumb.
Yeah, so Evelyn sort of regrets it. She feels uncomfortable because she was madly in love with Rafe. But, they're getting closer, her and Danny. And then out of the blue, Rafe's alive.
Ben Affleck shows up, he's in Hawaii. He was like, give me a hard ticket to Hawaii, please. I'm going to Hawaii. And I was like, yeah, Michael Bay would like that movie. Pretty good stuff. Patreon.
I'll tell you who else who would like that movie. Scott Morrison.
Hey, this episode's going out after the election, I think. That's pretty fun.
It is, the 25th, you said.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Ben Affleck's alive. He talks to Evelyn and immediately figures out what's going on just by looking at her.
Yeah,
And then
I wrote
looking
that
at Danny.
down. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck
Yeah.
is this scene? The scene is the dumbest fucking
It is.
scene I've ever
It
seen.
is.
He rocks up. They think he's been dead. He would know this. He would know that they thought he was dead.
Well, they even say it. She says, Rafe, you died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they should have been like hugs, celebrations, excitement. The first thing that should have happened when Rafe saw Danny was they like ran to each other.
They were like brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There should have been this whole big thing. They were like this and that, and then later on, it's like Rafe figures it out, and he's
Yeah.
like, "What?" And then he feels that big betrayal, because they just had that big reunion sort of thing.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm more on Danny and Evelyn's side because it wasn't a betrayal because you were dead.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
their mind, you were dead.
I get it. You're on the cuck, the guy side. I get it. You cuck Rafe. Gotcha.
Wait,
but
wait, it was Rafe who was cucked.
Yeah.
yeah.
The kaki.
But it wasn't by definition cucking because he was gone.
Yeah, he wasn't watching.
Well, yeah. Look, that it was accidental cucking. That's for
It was.
sure.
Oh, wait, no, he was watching because he watched the movie and figured it out instantly.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, the guy who was documenting everything actually saw them in the parachute room.
Yeah.
Yo, Rafe, I got something to show you.
Oh, no, I just thought that Michael Bay showed Rafe the dailies.
Ah.
And that's how we figured it out.
I was so mad. I was like, what the fuck is this scene? Why does he just like look at them both and just go, oh my god, you betrayed me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
Or
I-
maybe
I
it's because
tried
he's
to-
Daredevil, right? Because, like, when he fell out of the plane,
He could hear it all.
his senses were heightened.
Even underwater, he could hear it all.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. It's impossible to explain because it's dumb.
I'm trying to think about it from his point of view. I think he overreacted. I would just address it. I'd be like, do we need to break up? Do you two want to be together? Let's never talk to each other again. It'd be sad, but he just overreacted. He shouldn't have punched him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, clearly you're clearly not of American blood, because we don't stand for that sort of thing around here.
Oh, my
How dare
goodness.
you touch my missus? Come here, you. Yeah, no, I think his reaction makes sense after this scene. It's just like that scene where he instantly figures it out is
Yeah.
very stupid.
Yeah, the bar scene's kind of funny.
The most realistic part is they started a bar fight, I think.
That was pretty funny, yes. So they go to the bar afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, Affleck goes to the bar. Danny rocks up while he's telling war stories.
Yeah.
And I liked how he's like, yeah, those Nazis, man, they fight differently. They fight real differently. They'll come around, they'll shoot you from behind. Just like some Americans will, as he looks at Danny. Just
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
So do they fight differently or do they not?
Yeah, wow.
There's a weird scene. There's obviously a cut there because Rafe's wearing his uniform. And then Michael Shannon takes off his Hawaiian shirt and says, I'll give you the shirt off my back for being really cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just putting it on and he didn't take the other one off. And you knew it was going to happen, but they obviously just cut the bit where he unbuttoned the other shirt.
So anyway, they fight. The security turns up, so they run away. They sleep in a car. They're still buddies, I guess. They're like, yeah, we'll hang out. It's fine.
And that right there is when the Japanese planes take off.
Yeah, because we cut. It's night.
Yeah.
I love how it's nighttime, and then we cut to Japan, and they're like, "Oh, here we go! It's now December 7th," and they pull the calendar over. Like, it's December 7th.
Yeah.
But also, in terms of time zones,
That's what I was thinking.
is it still nighttime? Which one's ahead? I'm not sure which one's ahead, actually.
Where is Hawaii compared to Japan? They're like close. Yeah, are they? Let's have a look here at the. Oh yeah, they're close-ish. It would still be.
Okay.
a pretty decent enough time difference. I think there's a whole Australia in between Japan and Hawaii.
There might be.
There's that much space in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, but Australia doesn't really matter. Don't worry about that in the film.
Oh, we don't exist.
Yeah.
You have to watch the movie Australia for us to matter.
Oh, ugh.
So anyway, the Japanese are on their way at last, literally halfway through the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God, yes. This is my last notes were around here, and I was like, next time, if I ever watch this movie, I'm skipping to 1 hour and 10. Because that way you get like 10, 20 minutes of preamble, and then the movie starts.
Yeah.
I'd say actually 1 hour and 8 minutes, because that's when they're all assembling in the
Yeah.
conference room to hear from the experts. But yeah, no, I think that's not a bad idea. You could almost cut some opening credits in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would work.
And then this is really great scenes. There are people living life in Hawaii. It's pretty great. And the Admiral is out golfing, and then all of a sudden, a valley is filled with planes flying through.
Yeah.
And they say, why are they practicing so early? Because they think it's Americans, but it's the Japanese. It's a really good scene.
It is a really, really just overall great sequence, and the
Yeah.
music is like tense. It's
But
just-
subtle,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of the tone is built up by just the sheer number of planes and their engine sound design. Just everywhere. It's really, really amazing.
And then when is it a torpedo that drops first? I think it is. And when that hits, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There are two people painting the side of the ship. They look down and they're wiped out.
Yeah, because it's like these people are just kind of looking at it, and they're like, what the fuck is that? And then they're gone.
There was a Japanese gunner on the plane actually telling a whole bunch of kids who were playing cricket, I think, no, baseball. He tells them to run, which I thought was quite noble of him. They don't want to kill kids, which was a nice touch.
Yeah. You know what would have been good? I don't like the movie Dunkirk because I think it's annoying. But a movie like Dunkirk that's this, I think, would have been another way to go about making
The
Pearl
Pearl
Harbor.
Harbor story done in the style of Dunkirk, do you mean?
Yeah, like different characters. Some need saving, some are doing the saving. We can see
Well, it makes sense.
the fighters on both sides.
Yeah, because you've got the air base on one part of the island, and then you've got the harbour itself. And you could see the story of they sort of do it here, but you could do it differently, where you see the pilots trying to get ready, trying to get there in time, while their colleagues are being murdered in front of their eyes, mass murdered.
And of course, there's the shot from this movie, I would say, which is the missile going into the kitchen, and you just see it drop. And I think it's mostly real. I remember reading something about how they shot that scene.
Dropping through the ceiling, I'm pretty sure was real.
Yeah. It looks amazing. That sequence.
It does.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Very cool. Oh, we haven't mentioned him yet, but I've written it down here, so I need to mention him. The cook, because we see him in this scene. We haven't talked about him, but earlier on he had this whole thing where his arc is he fights on the ship,
Yeah.
and people are taking bets and all that. Because he doesn't get much other roles on the ship other than cleaning duties in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he takes up fighting to earn the respect of his peers.
He's got a pretty close relationship with the captain, which is quite cute.
Yeah, which is cool. We get a scene where he beats the crap out of an engineer, but the engineer guy is like a massive dude.
Yeah. Actually, he got the first American kill of the movie. I just realised.
Yeah.
Well, of the conflict. Rafe was wiping out people in the sky when he was in England. But, in the harbour, Cooper Gooding Jr., his character, shoots down the first plane.
Yeah, he gets on an anti-aircraft gun. That's a good sequence as well.
Yeah, because he talks with the captain, and the captain's like, I hear you've been fighting and winning. And he's like, oh, yes, I get pretty lucky down there. And he says, it sounds like it has nothing to do with luck, that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, Captain, you're a great guy. Boy, I would hate for anything bad to happen to you. And then when the bombing hits, we see him and the captain's like, go to your stations, do this, do that, do that. And the cook's like, hey, don't worry, man. Everyone's at their stations. You trained us well. I like that. I like that a lot.
And then the captain let go. He realised, okay, well, they're in safe hands, their own competent hands, and
Yeah.
he dies.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about, when I say like, it's just, it shows how probably accurate it was. There were still people sleeping on the ships, and they're still in their pajamas. Someone was shaving, they're still holding the razor.
And people don't immediately jump too. People, like,
No.
half the people think it's a drill,
Yeah.
you know? Or,
Yeah, that's
like...
what one of the other cooks said as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that, because that's the most realistic bit, is people just not knowing that it's happening while it's happening. Like, most people are like, why are they doing flying drills this early, you know?
On a Sunday, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on a Sunday,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then this is basically where I started crying, was just destruction everywhere, and the horrific thought of some of the people on the bottom levels of the ships as they start to sink, never being able to get out, and so they just suffocate, they drown.
Yeah.
And then the slow motion shots of the nursing village being shot.
Oh, yeah, like on the streets. That was...
Oh, that was horrifying. Oh,
that
my
was
God.
really horrifying.
I'm welling up now. I've also got it playing a little bit, but just it's nasty stuff. It's brutal.
Yeah, one sequence that got me was there's the guy trapped. I think it's like a window, and like he's got his hands through, and he's holding like some guy's hands as they're trying to get him out.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're trying to cut him out. That's when Ben and Rafe actually got there. Ben. Why do I keep saying Ben? That's the same person. Rafe and Danny.
Yeah, because they get into it. So they start up their car that they were sleeping in, and are pursued by a bunch of planes, which is kind of eye roll
Yeah,
a little bit. It's kind of like,
because the planes would fly over you far too quickly.
Yeah.
That's not a fast car.
But they're driving around trying to help all the guys, all the soldiers who need it. Oh, there's one other kind of eye roll scene which I didn't love, which was a pretty powerful shot of all the bodies in the water. I think it comes in a little later. But then there's also just the American flag drowning. And I was like, that's dumb.
And then Cooper Gooding Jr. picks it up and cries about it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, the scenes in the ward, that got me as well. People bleeding. One guy's throat is just gushing blood. People are walking like zombies who've been burnt. And the nurses trying to keep their cool. And one of their own has died, and they're sad about that, but they have to keep going because more and more people just turn up.
Yeah, some really good stuff there. Particularly, like Kate Beckinsale's acting just throughout the whole
she's
sequence.
amazing in this.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So good. And then, we got the boys. The
boys.
They fight their way into a hangar and take to the air.
Then you got the guy, I've forgotten his name. He just comes out with the shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah, they start firing at the planes, which is, it's dumb. I think this was when I first noted down that Michael Bay really takes advantage of being able to say racist slurs, because this is when everyone
This
is
is
just...
probably the only film where it's sort of applicable because everyone said it at the time.
Yeah.
We don't now. We won't now.
It's more how often it is. Like, if
Yeah.
you were to do a drinking game, you would be fine for the first half, like, hour and a half. But then after that, you were smashed by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's every second sentence, and it's honestly comedic.
I suppose it's better to say the shortened version of the Japanese fighters are on the way, when you could say these dirty so-and-sos are on the way.
Yeah. Anyway, the Japanese have succeeded. They withdraw a third wave that they were going to send out, but no, they withdraw that.
Which, frankly, if you want to get back to your people and say we had a great victory and hardly lost anyone, wise choice.
And we get shots of the aftermath in the hospital and the sea. It's incredibly striking and sad. They say, I think, over 3,000 people died, which is, whew. And America's at war now. And then the Japanese admiral's like, I fear all we've done is awaken a sleeping giant. And I was like, that's dumb.
Oh, my God.
He's not wrong, though. America was sleeping at the wheel, and the rest of the world was fighting for its life. And America's like, oh, no, we're not attacked yet. We won't do anything.
Yeah, no. This isn't a story about how the USA was just not helping at all.
No, exactly.
And being dumb. No. This is about how USA are the heroes of the war after they
Yes,
got attacked.
That's the story they tell themselves, yes.
No. We clearly didn't watch the same film, because that's definitely what I watched, was how USA
I watched
are
that
heroes.
too, but I know history.
No. History isn't important here, Rhys.
History is written by the victor, and America was left standing at the end, so that makes them the victor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they didn't participate very much.
exactly. And what's his name? Churchill was kind of racist, so we can't believe him. We can only believe Roosevelt.
Kinda?
Very.
Yes.
In war, there is no winners. So the only way to win is to not participate.
Smart. Ugh.
I'm just saying, USA, smart brain, big brain.
What was that dumb line where they're like, we've been attacked now. Looks like it's World War II. And I'm like, World War II's been happening for at least a year, America.
Yeah, someone just said, I think World War II just started.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's so dumb.
So bad.
USA, USA.
I hated the scene as well. I know it's meant to be uplifting and you're meant to be like, yes, Roosevelt. But that scene where he's like, everyone's saying that, we can't fight back. It's impossible. Well, I'm in a wheelchair. Can I stand? I can. I've done the impossible. I'm like, this is dumb.
Like, we just had 3,000 people die. Bit different than you, one man getting out of a wheelchair. Good job, by the way, but
Although I did laugh when Lin-Manuel Miranda showed up and did a rap about it.
That was pretty good.
We definitely watched the same film.
Affleck, he and Danny are enlisted into a top secret suicide squad. They almost do the line, what is this, some sort of suicide squad? They almost do it.
What is this, some kind of suicide squad?
What about that? The movie starts with the attack, then they both get enlisted to the Suicide Squad, and then we have Suicide Squad-style flashbacks to explain all the characters.
Oh,
James Gunn,
yes.
could you come and do this, please?
Hey, I mean, Michael Bay thought it was so great, he did it in one of the Transformers movies for all the bad guys, so...
Did he? Which one was that?
I think it was the fifth one. The fifth one had the bad guys introduced... by Suicide Squad flashback style intros.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Man.
Michael Bay learned eventually.
He eventually
He
learned.
took the best bit of Suicide Squad and adapted it.
Alec Baldwin, he's the leader of the Suicide Squad. He's the Amanda Waller, if you will. He calls planes fat ladies, which was weird. He's like, we gotta slim these fat ladies down. And I'm like, Michael Bay, my goodness.
Because they want to take off from an aircraft carrier. These are army planes, essentially. And so they need to make them lighter. So they're saying, make them lighter. I'm not at all defending the line. It's ridiculous. Fat phobia
it's stupid.
and weight shaming. And there's a lot wrong with that line alone, let alone the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, it kind of makes sense because they call the planes ladies, right?
They do.
And they need to get rid of the weight because otherwise they're not going to be able to make it to Japan.
It'll be a very short mission if they don't.
Yeah, that's why he calls them fat ladies, but yeah.
There's one incredibly, terribly written line. Not because it's cheesy, but because it's so blunt. Baldwin is like, all right, man, we're going to Tokyo and we're gonna bomb it. And then everyone just cheers. And I'm like,
I know. But then I did like the response. They were thinking about it for a while and then they say, what good is this going to do? Is it going to do enough? Like, comparatively, we lost our fleet. Are we going to do any damage?
Yeah, well, I did like the thing where it's like, hey, they sent 300 planes. We're sending 20. It was good comparison. I liked it. It was a good pointing out of how futile their sort of attack was. And then the movie continued on without thinking about it anymore.
But Captain USA knows how USA the USA is.
Yeah.
So he knows that if you had a little victory like that, their ego is stroked enough to think that we can win the whole war. And then their allied forces win the rest of it.
Yeah.
how USA is the USA if the USA?
It's as USA as the USA would USA. Yeah.
Now, would you say that USA?
No, I think you would say that.
Okay.
Anyway, they fly off to Tokyo. Evelyn manages to get into the news area to hear what's going on for a bit.
I think I know why they made it inaccurately about oil prices, Sandro, because they attack a refinery, basically.
Oh,
essentially wiping out the rest of their oil refinery. So if it was the case, they've just crippled Japan, but that isn't what happened.
No, that's not what happened at all.
So this would be a much more meaningful victory if it was accurate, but that's not what happened.
I like how they attack the oil refinery, and it's like we just had a great scene of the Japanese coming in and bombing everything, and it looked quite good. It was in a nice area, whereas this scene, the victory scene, if you will, it's just a dirty factory in the middle of a city.
Well, that's all of Japan, is what they're saying.
Dumb.
And, it was tragic and in slow motion in America. Here it's like massive bombs. Yeah, we're getting revenge. We're sending back the medals that they gave us when we signed a bit of a treaty or a friendship pact, but they've obviously betrayed that, so we'll send it back to them on the bomb.
Oh, USA, am I right, fellas?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
We have the nurse. She's tucked into a corner in the,
She's the only good bit about this sequence.
Yeah, which is why I started with her.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're in, the typewriting room.
Yeah.
She's put in the typewriting room to pretend to type while they're saying things, which I thought was pretty funny. That somehow she's managed to get herself in, and then she immediately abandons that facade to just go wander forward to listen in on the radio communications with the planes. And we see the commander, communicating with the planes. They learned that they have to launch early because the Japanese discovered them a bit earlier than they expected.
Yeah.
They need to make it even lighter so they can put some more fuel in, but not let them fall off the ship.
So they chuck some more fuel in, but they chuck out all this weight, including the guns.
Yeah.
And he replaces them with brooms, which is, a clever idea. But, would it matter?
No.
Would anyone care?
Yeah, you can't shoot anyway. I don't think you could even see planes in that great detail to see if they've got what look like guns or not. And frankly, people on the ground are more concerned about the bombs than the guns, so...
Yeah, again, it's who would have cared about the guns?
Yeah.
If anything, them landing their planes or their planes going down with broomsticks instead of guns in the slots is going to make them look like idiots. The Japanese are going to be like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? They got broomsticks here.
America is not armed at all. Let's attack again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oof.
But, they send off the planes. They think they're not going to make it because they run out of fuel. And then they, just as the commander gives up and he breaks radio silence, the island appears. Woohoo! And they see it there. Yay, we made it.
And it's almost a bit of a will they or won't they in terms of which one's going to crash and die.
Oh, well, my bet was on one of the main characters.
No, that's what I mean. Each one is on a different plane, and so they're both running out of fuel. Which one's going to crash? Which one's going to die in the crash?
And I immediately knew, as soon as they weren't on the same plane together, that one of their planes was going to go down. I didn't know which one, though. I wasn't sure which, because you could have gone really either way, I felt.
Yeah.
And then, as it turns out, in the end, they don't die in the plane, but one of them does die.
Well, they have to have the dramatic scene where they're talking together,
Or they fire too many bullets out of pistols, but that happens in every action movie. And then there's the scene that didn't look that great, where the plane comes in, saves them, with the guns that they do have, kills the Japanese forces that have found them on the ground.
Yeah, because Affleck is cornered by all the soldiers.
And then it crashes, which doesn't look as good as the rest of the film, but that's literally one shot out of hundreds of effects shots, which look amazing. So, hats off, I suppose.
Guys, we're missing the most important scene. It's when Danny sacrifices himself for Raph.
Yeah.
He jumps in front of the bullets. So dramatic.
He does. Yeah. He gets shot in the chest, and then that's enough of a distraction for Affleck to kill all the Japanese. Danny's dead. Rafe is like, oh, Danny, no. Cries over the body.
You were gonna be a dad. And he's like, no, you're gonna be a dad. Dies.
Anyway, a bunch of awards are handed out to all the peoples and, great success and etc., etc. And we see Rafe and Evelyn have named their kid Danny, which is going to be a very complicated discussion when they explain to Danny why he's named Danny.
Is it? Or is it just like, hey, yeah, my best friend died in the war and his name was Danny, so I named you Danny?
Yeah, you don't have to mention the love triangle.
I feel like, well, that's the thing, right? That's what's going to make it awkward. Yeah, it's going to be like, yeah, you're named after my best friend who was friends with your mum, and then I died, and then your mum was and dad, you know.
Yeah, you don't explain that.
You don't
bit.
need to explain that, no. His best friend from childhood went to war with him and died. It was a horrible event. So many people did die. That's all you have to say.
Yeah, but he's biologically related to Danny, right? So it's going to come up eventually.
What are they going to do? Do a DNA test? It's like 19.
It wasn't as good.
I don't know.
Sandro.
No one gives a shit.
I
I'll tell you what,
Joe.
maybe Danny's kids, as in Danny Jr., his kids will go on Who Do You Think You Are, and they'll do the historical records check.
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
No, what's going to happen is it's going to be an awkward, 80 years later where they're on, when they're on, the DNA test sites or whatever.
Yep.
It's like, wait a minute, we're not related to that guy? What's happening here?
Maybe.
But he was best friends with him, and, Mom, what did you do?
Yeah.
Or great-grandma, what did you do?
This is totally like a deathbed confession.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like, oh, parachutes. Now, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah. We've all been there before. And parachute room.
The kid has this weird obsession with skydiving. He gets off on it.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I think it's just the cliche of the ending of a movie. You name the kid after the whatever.
Oh, yeah. It was so cliche.
Oh, and then it ends with a Celine Dion song, which was awful.
Again, Titanic.
Just come on. Can you be more on the nose with your Titanic thing? Anyway, and that is basically Pearl Harbor. There's nothing really left there to mention. Because it ends there. It ends sooner than I thought it would. For some reason, I thought this would have more of an epilogue, but not really.
It doesn't do the Lord of the Rings style 17,000 endings,
No.
which is not an exaggeration.
But yeah, that is Pearl Harbor. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely giving this an oldie, but in terms of a star rating, I'm not really sure. Because it's watchable, and it's got some really good moments, but I also don't like that this exists. I don't like that this is the Pearl Harbor movie.
Right.
And it's called Pearl Harbor. So we can't get another Pearl Harbor movie called Pearl Harbor.
That is true.
For many years.
But there is a movie called Tora Tora Tora.
Tora. Yes, good, yeah.
Which is actually recommended on Disney Plus to watch after you watch this.
Yeah. That's on Disney Plus as well. So I think I'm going to watch that one.
I think I might
just so
too.
I get a comparison of them. Because a lot of people, especially in the reviews, say, just go watch Tora Tora Tora. It's a much better film depicting the whole thing.
Yeah.
People also say Midway is pretty good, not exactly focused on Pearl Harbor.
I don't even like Independence Day, so I'm not going to give Roland Emmerich any more of my time.
Oh.
Whoa, you don't like Independence Day? At least the first one. Let's not talk about the second one.
No, I don't like it.
That's the most USA of USA.
It's very USA. It's the most USA to ever USA.
Independence Day is fantastic. How dare you, sir?
Pearl Harbor is basically, it's that era of action movies where everything was just trying to be Independence Day. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it was trying to be a Titanic Independence Day, actually.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was trying to be. Trying to be both at the same time and failed.
It's bad. And also Twilight as well. At least Danny didn't come back as a werewolf and fall in love with the child of the main two.
He did come back, and he did survive a plane crash. Maybe that's because of his powers.
Maybe.
His latent powers.
Latent powers. And there wasn't the scene where, the massive battle happens and then we realize it was just in the main character's head. They were having a mental battle. It wasn't actually a battle.
Oh, you know what it should have ended? It should have ended with a zoom out of an old man telling a story, you know. And that's why your mother was actually knocked up by my friend. Sorry to let you know this way.
And if you're wondering why I'm talking like this, I moved to England.
Yes, I'm English now.
Yeah.
I went there to get away from all the immigration because I'm racist as well.
Oh,
You
no!
fit right in England.
Yeah, Granddad. Thanks, Granddad. All right, time for you to go to bed, Granddad. Take your pills, Granddad.
But yeah, my biggest issue with this movie is that this is the movie. You know, it's like a cash grab. You know, they want to make Titanic again.
It's
what are we
a
going to
Michael
do?
Bay film. It sucks that a Michael Bay film is the movie for Pearl Harbor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest issue with it. I think in terms of a star rating, it's probably like a 2.5. You know, it's not too bad, but I'm definitely giving this an oldie 100% because I just can't give it a goodie, I think is why I'm giving it an oldie.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I do somewhat still enjoy it. Like I said, when I first watched it, I was pretty much ignorant to a lot of the problems in it, and I liked the action. And the action is still good, but I've brought up a lot of problems, and I can't call it a goodie, even though I still enjoy it despite those problems. So it's definitely an oldie, but I think I might give it 3.5 in terms of a star rating.
You can still enjoy a movie, and rate it an oldie. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like that's not to say that you like the historically inaccurate movies based off real events are all bad, because Titanic is historically inaccurate. Did you know that? But yeah, like I think it's more that it's so money grubbing, you know. It's like a studio was like, oh yeah, man, move about Pearl Harbor, it's gonna be Titanic, all that stuff as well. I don't like, because there's no creative vision behind this movie, really.
Yeah.
Everyone was given a job and they just did it. But anyway, Zach, what are you gonna rate it?
Oh, as a great, glorious USA citizen, I'm ready. Goodie! Woo! USA! USA! I don't have a USA passport. so I have to rate this an oldie. As a non-citizen of USA. If they give me a passport, instant goodie.
Wow.
Instant, yeah, look. As soon as I become an American, bam. Goodie film.
How about that?
America.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Flying in to drop some bombs on an oil factory.
Oil factory, America. We knew it was coming. Just putting it out there. So we're not dumb.
Oh, dude. Team America's a great movie.
So what I took away from this was America's the best.
Yep.
Also the world.
Yep.
And I'm skipping an hour and 10 minutes next time I watch this film.
It's exhausting.
It is.
3 hours.
Actually, I might cut the first hour and 10 minutes, and I might watch that one separately at one point. And then the next action scene, I might watch that one separately at one point. And then the ending, I'll never watch again. And it'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, 3 oldies there for Pearl Harbor. Honestly, though, I was expecting this to be one of the worst films of the year. It's not close. Like, it's not even close to some of the worst stuff we've done this year, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually impressive. Again, Driven, Crocodile Dundee 3.
Yeah.
It's just even that incest movie, like, just bad.
Oh, yeah, especially that one.
This feels like it's close to an incest movie.
I guess.
It's a self-filleting movie, that's for sure.
G'day, Kegel here from Aussie rap duo Kegel and Greg. I write funny songs with my true blue bestie Greg, who sounds a lot like Sandra from the podcast you're listening to right now. Coincidence? I think so. This episode of Oldie But a Goodie is brought to you by our debut album, Keep 'Em Wondering, which is out right now. Here's a sneak preview of one of the songs.
The dynamic duo from the suburb at Easton, and to our day one fans, this is for you, that's why we're singing. G'day, g'day, tell me how you going today. G'day, g'day, tell me how you going today.
G'day. Oh my goodness, that sounded so good. I'm gonna have to go listen to Keep 'Em Wondering by Kegel and Greg on my favorite music streaming platform right now. Cheers, enjoy the rest of the episode. Bye.
Well, now it's time for the final segments of the show. I actually had an idea, Zach, that maybe we move raving reviews to the start. Like when I go through the Rotten Tomatoes scores, we do it then?
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. Absolutely.
But not this episode. Because first we've got to
Yeah,
do...
let's just go back to the beginning and start.
Yeah, I was about to say, first we've got to somehow combine Pearl Harbor, a national tragedy, with some random movie.
I mean, we can just kind of carry across Ben Affleck's character, I guess. Because, yeah, Rhys, well, what we're doing this year, we are pitching, not sequels, crossovers. Because it's 2001. Sequels Who cares? They're old news. We're all about crossovers.
Old news. Garbage.
We're all about crossing over stuff with other stuff. I've got a random number generator. It's going to generate a number between 1 and 176. It's every episode that we've done. We've done a lot of them. My goodness. The number it lands on, we got a crossover Pearl Harbor with the movie we reviewed on that episode. The number is 145.
Oh, my.
Which is The Princess Bride.
Oh, shit.
Hey, have you seen that one, Rhys?
It's been a while. I need to try and remember the story.
Yeah, crossover Princess Bride with Pearl
That's what I
Harbor.
meant. I know the story of the Princess Bride, but it's like, yeah, let's get the Princess Bride and then join it with Pearl Harbor.
All right.
Hey, well, in Princess Bride, the main female thinks that her love interest dies. But then he comes back. And then he goes and fights the enemy.
That does happen.
So maybe this ragtag group of individuals go and fight a different enemy.
What?
In this weird crossover.
Okay. How about... No, your idea is probably better. Because I was going to be like, when Ben Affleck is, like, his plane crashes, he's knocked out, and he has a dream about him in Fantasyland. But nah, that's dumb.
Oh, yeah, that could work. Yeah, that it was all that the Princess Bride was all a dream inside of Rafe's head.
Yeah, so he crashes, he's knocked out, and then he dreams it all from Wesker's point of view.
Wesley,
that's it. So he dreams the whole story from Wesley's point of view.
Yeah.
So it's just a remake of Princess Bride, but directed by Michael Bay.
Oh, yes, now we're talking. Oh, look, it's the fire swamp, but the fire rats, and then one of the fire rats just explodes violently.
Yeah, well, yeah. That sort of is something that ties into what I've been thinking about, and I feel like I'm a bit lucky because I've had a little bit of time to think about it. Sort of inspired by Moon Knight, without being too spoilerific. Rafe, it's the best of both worlds. Rafe learns to cope with what happened and his PTSD from it by associating events in the war with like a fictionalized version of it, which is similar to what happens in Princess Bride, in that like, instead of it being a Pearl Harbor filled with bodies, it's a fire swamp. So it's nasty, but it's not exactly the same thing. So it's a coping mechanism to defend himself from the horrors of his PTSD. So
So we see
that sounds like
Ben Affleck in old man makeup. He's the guy telling the kid the story, and the story is Pearl Harbor, but in the
and it's more of a coping mechanism for him. So it's a study on mental health as well.
Oh, and that makes sense why they have this whole preamble at the start where the lover thinks he died, and everything, because it's just the whole allegory for him coming back, you know. That sort of thing. But he comes back stronger, you know.
Yeah. So instead of, like in Moon Knight, there are alters created because of traumatic experiences. It's dissociative identity disorder. Instead of a different identity, he just changes the scenarios in his head to sort of reduce the emotional impact.
And it's called The Princess's Harbor. The Princess Pearl. The Princess Pearl's better.
Yeah.
The Pearl Princess? I don't know.
And we all get cancelled on Twitter.
Oh, no, just like Fred Savage.
Oh, no. It's time for the worst part of the show. It's time for raving reviews.
Raving.
Rave.
Thank you. It's the part of the show where I go to the best place to get reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, but I ignore the critic reviews. I went to the audience because it goes by the crowd logic idea that, you know, one person could be quite dumb, but a crowd has a sort of average intelligence. Therefore, you can sort of devise a correct answer for this film.
Exactly. Like one person saying America didn't help really win the war. You know, they came in quite late. That person's dumb.
Yeah.
But a whole country being like, we're the reason all the Allies won, that is correct.
Yeah, exactly.
And when Sandro says one person, he means the whole rest of the world.
I mean, every other country.
Yes. Love you, America.
So, Rhys, you've been on the show before. You know how this works. We get a review. I tell you the review. You have to get between 0.5, so there's 0.5s, to 5, what they rated this movie. Although, there's a bit of a twist this time. Because I've grabbed 5 of the finest reviews that I could find. But there's a 6th review somewhere in here that I have written. This will be a fun one. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Because I'm immediately starting us off with a new section called My Wife and Me.
Oh, no.
With the next 3 reviews.
I know what this is already.
Involve somehow someone's wife. So, Indigo says, great movie to watch with your wife. We both loved it. Win-win.
I mean, I guess because it's like a romantic drama, and women love that more than action. Am I right? Cool.
You know how Zach's been saying that he'd start watching from an hour and 10 minutes? I feel like him and his wife might have stopped watching at an hour and 10 minutes. Just after the parachute scene, it might have been inspired.
So, Sandro, what did you think they rated it?
Are we doing closest wins or hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, we'll do closest wins. Absolutely.
4 stars. I'll go 4 stars.
I'm going to go 3.
You're going to get 3. It's 4 out of 5.
Hey.
It's 4 out of 5. So Sandro was on the ball there.
I'd like to thank the parachutes. You really helped me out on that one.
Liam certainly appreciated the parachutes. It says, brilliant film. Mine and my wife's favourite film, even before we met.
Hello, it's our first date. What movie do you like? I like Pearl Harbor. I do too. That's not a red flag.
They could be American.
Well, they both found each other, Sandro. After many dates where the conversation ended there, they finally found someone who would also watch Pearl Harbor with them. Rhys, what do you think these two lovebirds rated this?
4.5.
I'm going to go with 4 again.
Well, we just discussed the closest wins, and it's 5 out of 5.
Hey.
So that's a point to Rhys.
Brilliant was a strong word to use, so that was my clue.
Yeah. It is a strong word.
But I wanted to be slightly conservative about it. The only time I ever want to be slightly conservative.
Just like this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie's slightly conservative, but Michael Bay is very conservative.
The studio toned him down.
Yeah. And then the last one of the wife and me section is by Stephen, who says, this movie was so great, I decided to take a leaf out of its book, so to speak, and let my best friend bang my wife. 10 out of 10. Best romance film disguised as a war movie.
Don't king shame Steven.
Yeah.
Good on him. I like that review a lot. That's good. I'm going to say, look, Steven said 10 out of 10, so it's probably 5 out of 5.
Yeah. We agree on that one.
Are you guessing 5 out of 5?
Yes, we both are.
You both are?
Yep.
All right.
Well, you both get a point because it's 2.5.
Oh, part of me was like, this could be a meme review, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, you should have guessed that. You still both get a point because you're both the closest because you both guessed the same thing.
Man, I really hope this segment comes back because I enjoyed my wife's segment.
I enjoyed the last one especially.
The next review is by So and X27NI.
Yep.
Sure.
Who says, it's easy to tell that this movie tries to be a Titanic-like movie. It fails with that. However, one thing I liked about it was the CGI.
Man, I can't wait for Michael Bay's long-awaited sequel to this that he's been working on for 20 years, because I hear it's going to have really good water.
Oh, nice.
2.5 for me, I'll say.
I'll just go with a 2, I think.
It's 3 out of 5. So that's a point to Rhys. Well done.
Hey,
Point for Rhys.
I don't want to jinx it or anything, but it could be my 3rd time lucky playing this.
Well, you just have to wait. There's 2 more guesses, and you have to guess which one was mine.
That's true.
Michael, who might be a bit bitter, says, wish they decided to make one movie. They made several and stitched them together into an incoherent mess.
That's not really jumping out as me as your review, so I feel like your one might be the last one. I'm going to say that one is a solid Oh, wait. No, it's negative. 2.
2. Okay.
I was going to say 3, 1 star for each movie, but, you know.
Ooh, good thinking. I'll do 1.5.
Well, it was actually 2.5. So Sandro gets the point on that one.
We're tied up.
That's way too high a star rating for the words used.
Well, welcome to Raving Reviews, where the reviews are senseless and the points don't matter. We have our final review by Manny, who says, let's remake Tora Tora Tora, but play it out like some awful Aussie soap opera. The script is vomit-inducing, a colossal waste of money, but more importantly, my time.
Same as last time, 1.5.
I was just going to say, and just like Australian soap operas, the British have more use for it. Just like the British needed America. No. I will say that is
incredible.
I'll go 2.5 as well.
2.5. That's 0.5.
Oh, and I was closest.
So there you go. Rhys, another point for you.
And Rhys is on 4 points. I'm on 3. Now we've got to guess which one Zach is for an extra point or 2 points.
No, an extra point.
All right, so I can force a tie.
Yeah. You can get a tie. That's the best you can get here, Sandro.
I feel like it's the last one.
I feel like, because it's what we've all been saying for the past 2 hours, it's the second last one.
Well, I guess my midnight hour / 1 a.m. self was more discreet than I thought, because it was neither of those ones. It was, in fact, Stephen who got his wife to be cut.
That's a good joke. Quality stuff, mate.
I was hoping that would be a real person. Oh, well.
Yeah,
I know. You were hoping that Stephen's wife did get banged by his friend, but alas, unfortunately, 'twas me.
Well, there we go.
That's a quality joke. You get points for that.
You do get points. Oh wow, you've won raving reviews.
Yeah, me. Wow.
No, with 3 points, I'm last with 4 points. Rhys comes in first. Third time lucky there, which means you get to plug your stuff. I think this is going out after your play wraps up, but is there going to be some sort of filmed version or any content?
Probably not a filmed version, but I'll just quickly mention it because it's great to be getting back into the acting world. But yeah, I'm currently in the eve of rehearsal week, like tech week, for a version of Dracula, in which I'm looking forward to getting back on stage.
Oh, and you're on YouTube, Instagram. We've got a podcast. We haven't done anything since the New Year's special, but check that New Year's special out because it was a damn good one.
Yeah.
It's a damn good one, and there's a lot of damn good stuff to talk about, so I think we should get back to it.
I'm just saying you're lucky you won the rotten review section. Otherwise, you don't get to plug.
No, it's true.
That's how it works. That's how it works. And unfortunately, we once again can't plug our own show because Sandra lost. God damn it, Sandra! Every time.
But you won, so I can plug it.
Oh yeah, but I did win as well.
To be honest, though, the show I've done most frequently recently would be this show. So I got to plug the show that I've appeared on most recently, which is Oldie But a Goodie. So there we go. Please check out other episodes of this show. There are plenty of guests. Please follow their Patreon and sign up.
Oh yeah,
I do remember your episode on RoboCop where there was a joke about I'd buy that for $1, and I always associate that with your Patreon, even though it's more than $1. But buy this show for $1.
You can, yeah. Well, yeah. Patreon.com/oldie but a goodie pod. We got 2 tiers up there. 3, but don't do the last one because it's too expensive.
Yeah,
we can't take that much money from you. But yeah, there's the $1 tier for general support and the ad-free feed of the show. And then also $5, upwards of $5 gets you up 2 bonus episodes a month. Up right now is a review of Memento, one of the first alternate options from 2001 that we're doing. It's Christopher Nolan's Memento, talking about, because I mentioned Dunkirk earlier, Christopher Nolan, he's gotten so full of himself recently. Memento, great film, going back to his roots where he really began, and I think it's a great movie. So we review that. It's up on Patreon right now. We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We really appreciate reviews as well on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. You can review us on Apple Podcasts just like Type A did. Ooh. Type A reviewed us on Apple Podcasts, dropped a 5-star review that really helps out. Thank you so much. They say, come for Police Academy, stay for Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
An excellent choice.
This podcast will take you back in time and reshape your memories. Nostalgia overload. Zach and Sandro are the Zed and Sweet Chuck of podcasting.
Hell yeah, I own that.
5 stars across the board.
But who is the Zed and who is the Sweet Chuck? That is the real question.
That's the good. I don't know. Well, who's the old man?
I'll take that. I could be the old man.
Oh no, that means I'm Zed.
Oh god, no. Alright, swiftly moving on. Thank you very much for leaving a review.
Thank you so much, Type A, for that 5-star review. You can do it in-app. Greatly helps out the show. Zach, it's time for you to pick next week's movie.
Alright, let's quickly movie along from this one.
You got 3 options. Your first option is called The Animal.
Ooh.
Rob Schneider is a police officer who gets fatally injured.
Oh, no.
When he wakes up, he discovers that a mad scientist has patched him up with animal parts.
Ooh.
Okay.
You've got Wedding Night. A couple get married in Niagara Falls, but then everything goes hilariously wrong. Uh-oh.
Does it all falls apart? Alright, moving on.
What's the worst that could happen? Danny DeVito steals Martin Lawrence's ring. Lawrence does everything he can to get that ring back.
I do love me some DeVito.
You do love DeVito. So, yeah, 3 comedies. 3 comedies right there.
Ah, interesting. These are my choices. Immediately, I'm dismissing Falls.
Yep.
Because it doesn't entice me. And my choices are between Danny DeVito
Yeah.
and Animal.
Animal Man.
Look, we've done Danny DeVito, that's the thing. And I love Danny DeVito. He's one of my favorites. But the plot doesn't sound too enticing, whereas the other one, where you have an animal grabs onto... It sounds very enticing. So if we could perhaps do that one...
All right, next week, The Animal, which means we're going to wrap it up with the best quote from Pearl Harbor. Rhys, what you got?
It's less of a line, more of an exchange, but you're so beautiful it hurts. I think it's your nose that hurts.
That's a good line.
All down to the way Kate Beckinsale delivered it. It was really nice.
My favorite one has got to be USA, 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 USA. There's so many to choose from. I wrote down a lot. Ladies cloud the mind. Man, I'm one good-looking son of a bitch. Land of the free, home of the brave. Which one do I want to choose? We'll go with God help anyone who goes to war with America. Which was actually said in a British accent, but I said it in an American one. Because USA, USA, USA.
And my favorite quote from the movie, to quote Trey Parker, I miss you more than Michael Bay missed the mark when he made Pearl Harbor. I miss you more than that movie missed the point, and that's an awful lot, girl. And now that you've gone away, all I'm trying to say is Pearl Harbor sucked, and I miss you.
Beautiful.
I need you more than Ben Affleck needs acting school. He was terrible in that film. I need you like Cuba Gooding needed a bigger part. He's way better than Ben Affleck.
I disagree with a bit about Ben Affleck being bad. I thought it was actually pretty good in this.
USA, 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 USA.
And fade out.